I'll need my microphone too, hey? Test, test. Oops. Test. Test one, two. Hey. You would think I would remember my microphone, but there you go. Remembered it now. So I was trying to ask there, is there who wants to let me know who's in the audience there? Who am I talking to today? It can be a bit isolating being on this side of the camera and all you guys can only chat. So yeah, I would love to see you in the chat. Just let me know who you are, where you're from, and I'd love to know what you're hoping to learn today. We'll be getting into this awesome track by Morphena and jpeg.love, which I think you're going to really enjoy. And it was quite a simple mix, really. Just a balancing, a little bit of EQ, a little bit of compression, much less than I normally do. But it just called for a gentle touch this time around. So yeah, so that's how it went. Let me see. So I'll say it again. Anyone who's watching, I'd love to hear from you in the chat. Let me know what you're looking to learn today. What are the major things you'd love to come away with today? And it can be something simple. I was thinking today we were gonna focus a little bit more on compression because I got some messages from some people watching last week who still didn't really have a handle on what compression is or how it works or how it helps the music. Yo, Luke, always glad to have you. Really glad that you're in the chat. Yeah, and Luke, I was happy to hear that you've been finding the sessions helpful. You mentioned limiting and bus compression before, and yeah, I really thought that could help your music for sure. I think it just it's one of those steps that creates a kind of radio ready feel, you know? It radio ready feel to your music. Before you put the limiting and bus compression on, they don't it doesn't tend to feel commercial. It feels like just something you made in your bedroom, which may be the case, but when you get that compression and limiting on, it's great. You know, it just feels a lot more pumped up and in your face. So yeah, hopefully that'll help. Gabby, great to see you. I am excited as well. Yo, Giuseppe, my other regular, great to have you as well. Giuseppe, you could let me know as well. Is there anything in particular you're looking to learn? Cool. Luke, I noticed that the vocals in this track are very ambient sounding, which is what I like for my own stuff. So I'd like to know what you've done to make them pop. I've got a good one for you today. This would be really good for you, actually. Yeah. Another free plugin, bit of a secret weapon. So yeah, it's great that you said that because I do have a kind of secret weapon for how I got the vocals to sit in the mix today. I didn't do a lot in this mix, but one of the small moves that I did that really helped was on the vocals. Yeah. Cool. Just gonna give it a little more time, and then we'll see. We'll see about getting started. So the artists today are Morphena and jpeg.love. Both of them part of the Raiders crew here in Berlin, which is a label, and I believe they're both DJs as well. I'm gonna play a little introduction from them in a little bit, so you get to know them a bit, and you can really hear their personality in this song. I might have to play the majority of this song for you, just so you can really get a feel for it. We'll do the usual A/B and hear the before and after. Yep. Okay. Cool. So I'll just get started with a few things. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you here. It's going to be a fun session because the track is really cool, and it was quite simple. So you know, a lot of what I did today was just balancing. So yeah, it'll be nice and simple, and just get an idea of what I did, and sometimes not doing too much is a really valuable thing. And I had to rein myself in and make sure I wasn't pushing too far with this one. But let me see, I've got a few things I want to go over in the intro. So first of all, it's great to have you. Stay active in the chat if you can, because this is for you, and I want it to be like a conversation, and I want us to go in the direction that you want to go in. So any comments are really useful in orienting me and helping me stay connected and give you the best. So that's one thing. The session is organized in conjunction with Open Music Labs. That's Gabby and Ben and a few other people helped me put this together. So I'm just going to read their little blurb. The Open Music Lab empowers people to make their own music. It's a space where anyone can learn how to create, record, and share, and a place for Berlin's diverse communities to connect and create together. So I love what they're doing. I love being a part of it. And I just think it's a great mission. And yeah, I can't say enough about it. The series is based on submissions from the Open Music Lab community mostly. We're taking 4 tracks and mixing them, and then making these Q&A tutorial sessions based on those tracks. This is the 3rd one in the series, just one more after today. And yeah, and the session is taught by myself. I'm Jack Glacken. I go by Good Day Explorer online. And I'm a producer and a mix engineer. I work with lo-fi, indie, folk, pop kind of stuff. A little bit of rock as well. And I'm really feeling the name synthwave and new wave. I think those definitely connect with what I mostly gravitate towards. So if you want to make contact with me, I'm doing free consultation calls for anyone who wants some help on finding their direction with their music. So link is in the bio, or link is in the description of the video, so you can go and book a call. I would love to connect. And that's totally no strings attached. It's not a sales pitch. It's just me trying to network and meet lots of people. So I think that's an important thing in these times. Let me see. Great. Okay, and then let me see. Yeah, lastly, I think you guys already have, but if you're enjoying the session, if you're enjoying the previous sessions, give the video a like. That'll really help. great. And so I'm gonna introduce the track now. It's called "I Like Your Vibe" by Morphena and jpeg.love. And I'm going to play their little video for you. They sent me a video, which was great. And you can have a watch and a listen about what they were thinking with the track and what they thought they needed help with. So here we go.
Hey!
Hi! So we are Morphena.
And I'm jpeg.love.
We are both artists. I'm DJ, producer, and vocalist, and well, you're also.
Yeah, we're pretty much the same, exactly. And we did this track, and it's called "I Like
Your Vibe."
Your Vibe. And it just happened in a very spontaneous studio session we did together. You were starting doing a beat, and I was singing a bit.
And
you were
with
singing
the
a bit.
guitar
Yeah, I was
also.
true. I was also
Like trying sounds with the guitar.
Yeah, experimenting with the guitar. I didn't play for a while, and then this track happened.
Yeah, just really flowing.
Yeah,
We actually record the vocals with reverb already, so we knew we wanted like that kind of vibe.
a bit like this indie lo-fi
Yeah.
vibe. A bit also SpongeBob influence with the guitar that sounds like underwater.
But also like something like a bit more of jungle and clubby, so something in the middle of that.
Yeah, and yeah, we just wanna get the most out of the track.
Yeah,
I guess.
basically. Yeah, just know which tools we could use to have the best mix that we could have.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's about it.
that's about it. Bye.
Cool. So you can get an idea of their vibe from that, and you'll hear their personalities in the music as well. I'm gonna play most of the track now. I'm gonna play it. Basically, I'm gonna play my mix, so you can get a feel for the finished article, and then we'll go back to what we started with and how we took it to the finish line. So let's do that. So here's the Ableton session. I'll just give you a tour quickly. We have a couple of, like, all the drums at the top, which is just a drum break and some hi-hats, a couple of samples that I added, one main track of chords, and then a few vocal tracks, and finally a guitar at the end is the last thing. So, what is this? Oh yes, that was a chorus that I don't have. We can live without a chorus, that's fine. Okay, so I'll play the track. Here it is, I Like Your Vibe by Morphena and jpeg.love. Let me put that to the start. Here we go. You
I like cute people and good vibes. I like being sad, yeah, sometimes.
Just gonna turn that down a bit on Luke's advice there.
I like the color
Let me know if this is good.
violet. Yes. I like good food. And I like you.
Cool. So that was the whole track. Yeah, makes me smile. I love how that flows and rolls. And that was, you know, when I heard all the parts and heard the original mix, I knew that I just wanted to make everything work together and let me see, just get out of its way and let it flow and roll. And Luke, thanks again for the advice on the mic. Yeah. So the compression definitely helped with that, because compression, like we've got all the drum hits hitting through, being kind of the loudest thing in the mix next to the vocals. And so every time the drums hit, compressor gets triggered a little bit so that volume gets turned down. And then when the drum hit releases, the volume comes shooting back up and pulls everything into the foreground a little bit. I could have gone way further, but I tried to keep it chill and didn't want it to get too much in your face. But what we'll do now is we'll listen to a section of the song and A/B it with the original mix. So let's have a listen to that. So we'll start with the original mix, and it's kind of level matched, which makes it a fairer comparison. I just realized I turned down my output here, so I'll turn down the track too. Okay, let's have a listen to the rough mix. Flick over to mine. And back to the rough. And mine again. Okay, so you can hear in the original there's a lot of balancing that needed to be done. And actually the vast majority of the work was just balancing some levels, then adding some compression and doing some EQing to bring out nice parts and tuck in less nice parts. And that was it, really. But what I'll do now is we'll take it from the top, and I will turn off all the effects, and we will see how I built it up. So I started from the drums, kind of get the drums where I wanted them. But this is not a rule. I don't always do that. So this was the original break, and let's see what have we got here? It's gonna turn, so I didn't even do any EQing there. Oh, I'll turn off my bus processing as well now. And I'm gonna just turn down the volume a little bit. So I'm gonna grab a utility. And take that down by -3 at the end. Okay, so let's just check out the break. The song is kind of built around this sound, and I felt like in the original it was too low in the mix. I think it's a really great sounding break, and they do just have it looping throughout, and maybe that's why they wanted to push it to the back, but I think it kind of carries itself. I still have the guitar playing there. So yeah, I didn't do a lot to it. The only thing I wanted to do is bring out the kick on it a little bit, and so this was a kind of a trick that I did. I use this multi-band dynamics thing. I'm using the low split only. The low part is the only processing I did, and what I'm actually doing here is expanding the signal. I'm not compressing. So when you open this thing, you can push it. If I activate this thing, you can push it up and it will start expanding the signal instead of compressing it. When you push it down and it turns green, like this one, you're compressing. But when you push it up and it turns orange, then you're expanding. So the expander allowed me to, every time the kick hits, the volume gets louder. So when the volume goes over the threshold, it gets louder. And I really wanted the kick to punch through on this mix, so I added this expander just on the low end every time the kick hits. And I just did a very little bit because I didn't want to upset the roll of this break. It's, oh hey Ali McKeever, awesome to have you. That's my nephew in the chat. Cool. Might be a little bit technical for you, but I will happily explain everything later as well. So this drum break, it just rolls along really nicely. I didn't want to upset that groove too much, and then so that was really it. I didn't do anything else. I just EQ'd a tiny bit on the bus as well. Take out some harshness. Let's see what happened. So I wanted to soften it a little bit. Let's see what happens if I boost this area. Yeah, I just wanted some softness, just to keep the roll. And then the next part was this hi-hat part that I guess they programmed themselves because it develops over time and creates a lot of the variation in the track. They had it very high in the mix, but I found a nice level where I feel like it's complementing the drum break. Yeah. And just to play it later on as well. It's all got a similar feel, very strict drum machine type feel, which combines really nicely with the drum break. And then the other thing that they did, I didn't even do this, is they added, yo Morena, great to have you. Okay, I'm just going over the drums right now. Let's see. So the other thing they did was they ran the drums, I think just the hi-hats and the drum machine pattern, they ran it through a delay and recorded that and sent that to me. So, and that really added a lot of drive and momentum to the track. So check this out. And I'll add it in now. Just solo that. Yeah, so it creates that roll, which I really love. And because they're varying the part that's going to it, it creates more variation. This was a great way that they added interest to this song. And then you can see we're coming up to a place where it breaks down a little bit, gets a bit more chilled out. And so they took the delay away. So that's perfect. They're just using it really nicely. Morena, that's great that you're chiming in here with pieces of information about the production. Played with the pitch of the hats. Yeah. So adding really nice variation there on top of the drum break, which stayed steady throughout. So just cool production. And just to put it back here a little bit. So here, did I do anything? I didn't do anything. So they just sounded great. I found a level. I found a level that worked. And then I found a level for this delay that worked with it as well. And it all went to this bus. I considered compressing this bus, but in the end, I didn't. Again, because I wanted to have a light touch, because the track didn't want to be too aggressive, and so I didn't need to compress it a bunch. Yeah, that's the thinking there. And then I did feel like I wanted a little more punch as the track got going. And so I added, what I did was I took the drum break and I sliced it to MIDI, which is something you can do with Ableton. Go in and with a smaller clip, there's an option to slice to MIDI. I think if I separate that with Command E, copy it, move it over, paste, and then Command or Control J, and you consolidate the clip. And then right click, and is there slice to MIDI? Yeah. So I sliced to a MIDI track. So it slices the drums up in based on the transients and creates a drum kit. And so I did that. And then I opened the thing. And actually, I think I did double the length of the thing here. So I don't need any of this. And then I just isolated the kick drums. So if I play this now, let me just see if I can play that. Right? So you can see what it's doing there. And then here's our kick drum. And then there's another kick drum, is it? Yeah. So basically I deleted all the MIDI except those two things, and then I created a drum kit just using the kick drum parts. So I just used the MIDI from that and I created some extra drum hits. It was pretty basic. So the first one is a kick drum. I was going to do the snare as well, but it was poking out too much and the snare just already sounded cool, so I didn't need to. So I did the first kick of every bar, and that sounded like this. So this is the sample that I added. And actually, Yeah, you can see I experimented with another one. Oh, there's the snare that I experimented with, but ultimately did not use. Just checking the time there. Wow, we're halfway through. Okay, so on this, to create this sample, I used 2 samples actually. The first one was this like mushy, distorted kind of thing. Kind of woofy. Woofy and distorted. And then the other layer was like a 909, so punchy and electronic. And then together they just sound great, I think. I'm definitely saving this preset and I'm going to use it again. And that is layered very quietly under the drum break. And then the other one, actually, so there's a different kick drum hit at the beginning of each bar. If you listen to this drum break, let me see. Don't have it yet. So there's two different kick drums basically. So I created 2 different kick drums to go with it. The second one was just it was the same kick from the. I actually just sliced out the kick from the break and then pitched it down an octave and ran it through a saturator. So this is what that sounds like. And very low in the mix. I just wanted to pump it up a little bit there. So let's put these guys in. And then you can see I added a double hit. Da, da. Da, da. And you can see I just wanted to soften it as well. So when you cut this area, kind of 2K area, you can soften things a lot. So let's hear that with and without the EQ. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, too soft, or too not beefy enough. So big low end bump and cutting presence. So yeah, just a small sample. I didn't do an awful lot with those. Again, I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the music. And if I cut these guys out, all I notice is a tiny little loss of weight in the kick. And really, I just wanted to be super subtle with that. And that was it, really, with the drums. Just balance, a little augmentation, not a lot. I was pretty happy with that low kick drum, but it wasn't super important. And then, so moving on to the chords now, let's just turn those on and see what those are doing. You can hear there, like, next to the vocals there, the next most important thing. There's no bass in this song. Yeah, so really, again, this was just finding level. And I did a tiny bit of cutting out the low end, but this was quite important, I think. Let's just have a listen without it. It's huge sounding, which is important if it's going to be the sole harmonic element in the song. So let's see what happens with the EQ on. that's an important move to me. That's really helps that a lot. So what have we got? We've got a cut of nearly 1 dB, around 400, 450, and low pass. I've got this in mid-side mode, so I'm cutting a little bit more of the sides to mono out the low end, and then I'm cutting everything on the mid channel below 100, and that leaves our drum break more room. This just sounds too huge now. Yeah. So a simple move, you know, again, I didn't need to do a lot because you can see that they vary the part. They keep it interesting themselves. They've got it nice and quiet coming in and then growing and altering. Morphena, I would love to know some of the things you did to these chords to keep them changing and keep them interesting. They're really wide as well. So there must have been some kind of stereo processing. Yeah, anything you'd like to chime in with, I'd love to hear a bit, because I didn't need to do much. I just EQ'd. Oh, there was one thing that I did actually. You can hear at the very start the way it comes in a bit awkwardly. So if I turn off these, this is the very start of the song. So that first hit is really jumping out and kind of doesn't fit and really interrupts the flow of the music. So I didn't do anything fancy. I just automated the level. I got a utility device, and because it was coming in and punching really hard there, I just faded it in there instead. And that was enough to tuck it in behind the drums. And yeah, delighted with the result there. And I'm happy because I didn't overthink it or try to do anything fancy. I just took care of the problem and let the part speak for itself. Yeah, let me see. It's weird, but you liked the imperfection of that first hit. Sure, yeah. Well, you know, it's different tastes, and certainly it is a kind of lo-fi track, but it was bothering me, and so I took care of it a little bit. And yeah, and then I just found the level, and that was it. And let me see. So then we're on to vocals. Actually, no, we'll go on to the guitar first. Excuse me. So the guitar I did take care of a little bit. Yeah, so that's Morphena in the chat there explaining that they were just playing with synth parameters like filters and chorus and space feedback. Cool. That makes sense. So moving on to the guitars here. I'll play it as it came in actually, and then I'll play you what I did. Again, I didn't do anything fancy, but there was one important thing that I did, just to take care of some sound issues. Oh, I've got that volume down. Just going to stop and answer this question from Morphena. Are you having a specific order or on purpose to mix? No, I didn't really have a specific order this time around, um, because there weren't too many elements. I put all the faders at 0. I found a nice balance to everything, and then I worked kind of in the order that I'm going in now, which is from drums to instruments to vocals finally. But that's the first 60% to 70% of the mix. And then after that, I'm just jumping around from everything, whatever's grabbing my attention. I'm tucking in little things like the start of that chord, or just anything that jumps out and annoys me. I tuck it in, and make sure everything's flowing and not interrupting my enjoyment. Okay, I think I'll just move a little bit more quickly here. So I'll just say, this is the guitar. And then this is how it came in, and then this is it after my treatment. And really all I did was I denoised it. I used a plugin called RX7 by Isotope to take some noise away. I've got a little. I didn't need a lot because we're in this lo-fi world, eh? Yeah, and so then, yeah, there's not a lot to say there. I added a ping pong delay, and there was a chorus. I don't have the chorus on this computer, but that was it. Again, it already sounded good. I didn't have to do anything special. I just found the right level, denoised so that it sounded a bit cleaner, and moving on. And so on to my favorite part, which is the vocals. I'll turn off all my effects, and there really aren't a lot, but okay. So here's the vocals as they came in. Oh yeah, I'll turn off my reverb and delay as well. Okay, so basically they sound great. I think they're jumping around a little bit in level, and so that suggested I needed some compression. Morena, I'd love to know again, since you're there, did you compress these vocals as well before you sent them to me? Because they did record with reverb because they liked the vibe, as you heard in their little video at the start. Don't you and you can hear they're playing with the speakers on in the background. I just sometimes really like that. And so they really liked the reverb, so they recorded with the reverb on. That's absolutely fine. And the first step I made is I just rebalanced. I took away some lows and I added some highs, just a tiny shift, a shift in the spectral balance. So let's just hear that. Don't you buy. That's minus 1.5. Plus 2 at 3K, 4K. And I added some of my own ambience on top of that. So I added a reverb and a delay. Don't you buy. can hear my delay and reverb there fading out. I didn't add a lot, but I wanted a little more width and a little more tail, so just added more. Yes, Morena telling us there it was an improvisation. That's half the reason I love it. I kind of knew it was a improvisation, but I just think you hit the zone on that, and it sounded great. Let me see. So yeah, that was on the track, and then on the bus I added more. I did this to all the vocals. I took away even more around this 400, 500, oh no, that's 600 or 700 there. Just took away a little more, and high pass filter. Very common vocal processing. So let's just hear that. So now we're really giving this whole area to the vocals and giving this area a little bit more to the synthesizer by cutting some of the vocals there, because it was just getting a bit muddy, and I wanted to leave space for all the elements, just making room for everything. And then adding a compressor, my old favorite. Luke says, Jack, is there any technique you use to make the vocals blend a bit rather than sit on top of the mix? Yeah. Let me see the time. So we're running out of time a little bit. Is that in the delay? The delay helps. Yeah, the delay helps blend it in. And so does the bus compression, because then when the vocals get loud and they rise above everything else, the compressor pulls it down. And then when the vocals fade away, then the compressor lets it go. And so that really helps the vocals sit in the mix. But it's also a matter of compressing individually. So I mean, when I say bus compression, I mean the compression on the master bus, which I have off right now, and then the individual compression on the individual track. I have a compressor as well. So I'm stacking compression, which I like to do. And you'll see now I'm really not hitting this much at all. 2 dB. Such a soft compressor. But just that really evens everything out, and the evenness means there's less volume, like jumps from one loud part to a quiet part, so that helps you sit it in the mix as well. Yeah, Luke, I think that'll be a useful tip. And then the last thing that I have on the vocals is this free plugin from Slate Digital. What's it called? It's called Fresh Air. And so it's a exciter. It's a bit like an EQ, but it adds distortion to local parts. Like it doesn't add distortion to the whole signal. It just adds in certain regions. So it feels a bit like an EQ, but different. So let's just hear that on and off. And I'll just turn this up so you can hear. So that's like way too much, but you can hear the presence. And then this one, the high air. So that gives a lot more definition, but then you've got to think about what is the kind of music that we're working with. And even if you like a lot of definition, well, listen to what was sent to me. It was this kind of murky lo-fi stuff, so I didn't want to add much at all. But that little bit that I did add, I just think it helped it lift it in the track. You'll hear once the bus compression goes on as well. And so that was for all of the vocals. I added those two effects, this wonderful free tube compressor and this wonderful free exciter. What a cool vocal chain. It's just crazy that you can have that for free. Now, a few other things. So there's two vocalists. The first was Morphena, and then it's Rika jpeg.love on the second time around, but it's quite similar. Processing was quite similar. She had a bit of harshness in the upper mid-range there, which I cut. I added a tiny bit of chorus to blend her in, but, you know. So just using this to push it back a little bit. When you cut this presence region, it pushes things back. And so I'll just turn on the other parts now, and we'll go play with the bus, which you guys know is my favorite part, playing with the bus. So I'll just play it like before and after, pretty much, with the bus compression and bus effects. That's before. And after. So it's just a bit louder without it. So I'm gonna just go through the chain quickly. So first of all, I started in this case with a preset. It's a preset that I created called Good Day Tape Master. So there's a preset in the Ableton library called Tape Master. All it is this kind of warming EQ. It cuts a little bit of the very high end, which is what a tape would do. Adds a little bit of overdrive. I have the wet dry at 5%, so very tiny bit to thicken it up. And then a compressor here. The first of 3 I used, but using them all very gently. So let's just quickly turn these all on, because I'm conscious of the time. Okay. Okay, so first of all the EQ, thickening, adding presence, and taking away the very high end. And then overdrive. It just adds presence, really, and weight. Compression. Oh, I had this guy on still. So now, with all the compression off, you can hear that the drums are too loud. And then turn the compression on. It pushes up the synthesizer, and then it also pushes down the vocals. So it's leveling everything, and that's what you want sometimes to control or compress the dynamic range, the difference between the loudest and quietest parts. So that's what we did here, just controlling dynamic range, giving it a little bit of pop and attitude. So this guy's worth talking about. I've got it just 16%, that's 100%. So we lost some tubbiness there, taking away from the kick drum and the low end of the synth on the sides, so that below here is all mono, and then not doing anything there, just cutting low end at the very sub, and cutting a bit of the center frequency. You can see these two lines, one of the grayed out line. Well, this line is the mid frequencies, and I've cut quite a lot of presence there, and just cut a little bit less presence on the sides. So let's hear that. Again, we just made it nice and gentle there, I think. And then my Old Faithful, used it on the master bus as well. So the one thing that's funny about this compressor is that the needle lies a little bit. There is actually compression going on. I've added 2 dB of gain afterwards, and so I think there's about 2 dB of compression going on here. That's it off. On. Now, if you don't notice a difference, I wouldn't be surprised. Just have to spend time with this thing. What I hear and what I notice is just thickening, because it's adding a little bit of distortion, and density because it is compressing a little bit, and that's really it. And then adding our limiting. This is just kind of smashing the transients a little bit. Hitting on the kick drum right now. And so if I play that again without the without any effects, see how far it came. For me, that just rolls along a little bit better, and that's the main aim there. So we're at 7 o'clock. I'm happy to stick around if anyone wants to ask any further questions. I'd be 100% happy to go on. I guess I nattered on a little long, but I think we really explained the whole mix, and you can see just how simple it was to do this one. With a few secret weapons, you know, and I'm happy I can give you those. But it was just balance, really, and taste, and listening to tracks that are similar in style to it, and taking a cue from them, like trying to get them in the same sonic region. So that was it. Also, it helps to listen on headphones and then listen on speakers. But yeah, I love the result. And yeah, I guess that's about it. If anyone wants to chime in at the end, you're welcome. But I think we're going to wrap up. So I'll just say again, if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button. Actually, just click the like button, or whichever you prefer. And yeah, and again, I'm doing one more session next week. It'll be the last one. It's been awesome fun doing these sessions, and been great to connect with people. Teddy, I haven't met you yet. I was curious if there are any key fundamental steps you'd take in mixing before mastering a track. yourself using a plugin like Isotope Ozone 9. Well, Isotope Ozone 9 is a collection of compressors and limiters and saturators, and they're great. But I've used my own, and I've used free ones on the master bus here. I would say that I'm treating this as a master job as well, although I didn't fully take care of exactly what level I'm sending it out on. So the mastering, I just make the mix as good as possible and then start playing with the master bus as well. But yeah, thank you, Morena. Thank you, Luke. Thanks to everyone who came. I think we'll finish it there. Guys, if you want to make contact with me and set up a free consultation call, no strings attached, click the link below. Otherwise, really hope to see you next week. Follow the channel, obviously, and you'll get notified. Or keep an eye on my Instagram below. You can follow that too. All the links for Morena and Rika are below as well, and for Open Music Lab. So check them all out. That's it. Cool. Adios. See you next time. Ugh.